a traumatic brain injury can completely change the life of a person and those closest to him. My guest is North Carolina personal injury attorney Michael A. DeMeo of the law offices of Michael A. DeMeo, and he's going to talk with us about the legal aspects often associated with traumatic brain injuries. So Michael, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Michael, in your experience of dealing with traumatic brain injury, what do you typically see as the most common causes?
Well, Cindy, the most common cause that we see, at least in our line of work, is either an injury or an accident in an automobile or at work. And unfortunately, sometimes you can have a traumatic brain injury without even striking another object. People sometimes think that you have to actually hit your head on something to have a brain injury, but it is possible, based on deceleration and G-forces, for you to have a brain injury with actually not having impact with any other object. But those are the most common. Obviously, significant falls, some sort of impact at the job, and then a severe or significant automobile accident or tractor-trailer accident are often causes for or result in brain injury.
Now, what is the treatment for a traumatic brain injury patient?
Well, oftentimes, depending on the level of injury to the brain, neuropsychologists, neuropsychiatrists, they'll go to a treatment facility where a number of cognitive tests are done and a number of rehabilitative practices will be implemented so that the person can theoretically retrain the brain, or at least the parts of the brain that are still working, to function in society. But depending on the severity of the injury, that oftentimes dictates the level that they will or will not be debilitated and will be able to function in society either with care and assistance or on their own.
Michael, where does your team start in handling a traumatic brain injury case, and why is it important to consult with an attorney in these types of cases?
Well, generally, the first thing that's done with a traumatic brain injury is you try to get to the significance or the level of injury that is present. Then, based on that, we generally will employ experts that will give us an evaluation of future medical needs, future attendant care needs, and that is generally in the form of what's called a life care plan. Oftentimes, it's more important to be able to project what the person's needs are in the future than just to get the medical bills they've incurred and try to resolve the case in that fashion, because that's essentially doing the individual a tremendous disservice, because they're going to have significant future medical needs, significant future medical care needs in the future that need to be addressed and that need to be accounted for.
Michael, do insurance companies typically do a life care plan, or do you need a lawyer to do this rather complex assessment?
Generally, you need a lawyer. In answer to your first question, if insurance companies did what they were supposed to, I wouldn't exist. So unfortunately, the answer to that is no. Insurance companies generally do not step up to the plate and say, we're responsible, we're going to pay, we're going to make sure that we take care of you for the rest of your life. What they will do in regard to the life care plan is they will generally get a corollary life care plan that, no shock or surprise, generally accounts and says that there's less care needed, there's less medical care needed, and it's going to cost a lot less than what's projected from the experts that are generally the treating experts. So the people that are going to be most familiar with that individual's needs and care needs in the future, they generally will get someone to try to refute that. But no, as a general rule, no, insurance companies don't offer to pay for these type of cases voluntarily. So that's why it is always very, very, very important that you get a personal injury attorney who's experienced in TBI.
And if someone wants to reach your office, how can they do that?
They can reach us in 3 different ways, Cindy. They can call us toll-free anywhere in the United States at 877-333-1000. They can contact us via web at our website at demeolaw.com. And ultimately, we now have a third option, which is they can text the word DeMeo to the number 333-100, which is basically our number less a zero, and they will be given a series of options to either communicate with us or to send us messages by text, and we'll be able to help them in that manner.
Very good. Michael, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
This is Cindy Speaker for Main Street Law.